So, when you have a project idea for a film or a TV show, are you really confident in that project? Whatever it is, whatever the idea, this will be the discussion of this episode of the Story Dude Show. Welcome, story lovers, to the Story Dude Show with your host, Jared Dean Winchester, bringing you a fresh set of episodes for the month of October 2021. So let's get right into it. Okay. We know there are lots of ideas floating around in the television and film business, and we also know for a fact that there are critics in the television and film business who would more than happily and willingly criticize our work. But the question here is not about the critics. The question is, are you, the creative practitioner, or the filmmaker, or the producer, or showrunner, or the writer even, are you really confident in your project? Now, the way to tell is if you've written something and you've sent it away for review and you're totally reliant on that person or persons, plural, to tell you whether or not it's going to succeed, or to tell you whether or not it's good or great even. Set aside your personal bias, because I know there are some people who would narcissistically say to themselves, oh, this project's going to be great, or this project's going to make millions, or this project's going to be famous. I'm going to be famous. Forget that. I'm talking about those of you who actually rely on critics. If you do, you do not have any confidence in your projects. I'll tell you why. Because the issue here is, if you relying heavily on critics to tell you whether something is good, something works, or something in your script or something in your idea works, then you ain't confident. If you are confident, then one of two things are going to happen. Either you're going to completely ignore the critics and you will not debate them, is with the second one. You see, what happens is, a lot of times when a critic offers a piece of criticism, good or bad, constructive or destructive, the creative practitioner always jumps on the defensive and starts arguing. And this is what needs to change. If it's constructive, realize it, and it's good. But the main topic of this episode is relying too heavily on critics to tell you whether or not if it's going to work. If your idea is going to work, then you have a problem. But if said critics is going to help you make your idea better, like I've explained in a few other episodes in the past, that's good. Because if you look at my previous episode, I have one on how to distinguish between a good critic, a bad critic, and the really terrible critic. I have that episode somewhere. But also, if you are heavily relying on a critic, then you've already given away your power. This is if you are a creative professional, if you are somebody who is the decision maker, or as they say, if the buck stops with you and you rely heavily on the critic, you've just given away that power. And these critics, you know what I'm going to say, they'll do one thing and they'll do one thing only, and they will try to do that one thing right, and that is critique. They will critique, they will criticize anything and everything we do in the film industry and in the TV business. So be confident in your projects, but I have to warn you never to be overly cocky. There's a difference there. Being overly cocky is, like I've explained, you believing that your project is going to succeed and it is mediocre. You are your own critic. I would suggest that you be your own critic and you yourself criticize your own work. You yourself put on the critique's hat and criticize your own work. So, with that being said, let's wrap it up. This is Jared Dean Winchester, also known as the Story Dude. Please like, comment, and subscribe because I post anywhere between 3 to 2 or 3 episodes of the Story Dude Show each month. So be sure to check all of my episodes out. And as always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you around for a new installment of the Story Dude Show.